Hello friends, this is Mahesh Pathak and welcome to Pathak's Microbiology Academy. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss a very exciting, interesting and important topic of biotechnology, which is rDNA technology, right? rDNA technology. So this R is for recombinant DNA, recombinant. So this R is for recombinant DNA. What does it mean by recombinant? Which means we are going to combine two different types of DNA and making this recombinant DNA, and that technology we will call it as rDNA technology or recombinant DNA technology. So simply in one sentence, if we want to define rDNA technology or rDNA particularly, so what is rDNA? The combination of two different organisms, or we can say different DNA, the combination of two different DNA, and that is what we are going to study in this video. So in the first step of rDNA technology or the methodology, we are going to see the methodology of rDNA technology. What are the steps involved in the rDNA technology? So first step is isolation of the target DNA, or we can say target gene. So what we are going to do is that in the first step, isolation of the target DNA. What does it mean by target DNA? Which means which the gene or the DNA we are interested in. Okay, so suppose in this video or in this lecture, we are going to take the example of the insulin production by rDNA technology. So suppose we want to make the insulin, which is the hormone, very important hormone, and which controls our blood sugar level. So our blood sugar level do not exceed its limit. So what insulin do is that insulin, the excess of sugar which we are eating in our daily life, that excess of sugar, that insulin converts it into some other products like fats, or it transfers that insulin, that extra sugars to our muscles. So our blood sugar level remains in the optimum level, right? So that is what insulin is doing in our body. So that insulin is the protein and also the hormone, very important hormone which controls our blood sugar level. That insulin production is nowadays done by this rDNA technology. First, that insulin is not that insulin is not produced in sufficient amount and not produced in the diabetes patients. So that's why we are producing them in the laboratories and making that insulin tablets, and we used to give that tablets to diabetes patients, right? So in earlier days, that insulin was excreted, or that insulin was excreted from the animals like pigs or horses. From earlier days, their pancreas, from their pancreas, the lots of pigs and horses were used to killed, and we used to extract their insulin from their pancreas. But due to help of this rDNA technology, we can make that insulin in the bacteria also. So how we make that insulin in the bacteria? By using rDNA technology, and that is what we are going to study in this video. And with the help of that example, we will study how the steps involved and which are the steps involved in the rDNA technology. So first of all, what we are going to do is that we have to isolate that DNA from the cells, and which our target gene is present, in which our target gene is present. So we have to isolate that DNA first into these cells. Suppose this is the human cell or other organism cells. which contains this chromosome, right? And this chromosome contains our target gene, which is the insulin producing gene. So this is our target gene. By the transcription and translation of that gene, we get the insulin inside the human cells, right? So that is the concept. So this is the, we have to isolate to take out this DNA from these cells, because we have to recombine it with vectors and inject it into the host, which is going to give us that insulin. So this is the target gene and this is the DNA. We have to take it out from this cell. So what we are going to do is, using some blender shearing forces and some particular types of detergents, we are breaking this cell and taking this chromosome or DNA out of the cell, right? So using some mixers and blenders and some detergents, we are going to take out this DNA from these cells. So in this way, using various techniques, we can take out this DNA and isolate this DNA, okay, from the cells, and it is containing our target gene, which is insulin producing gene. So isolation of the DNA is the first step by using some blender and detergents, which we are going to use to isolate this DNA and take that DNA out of the cells. After that, what we are going to do is that we are going to break this DNA and making its fragments by using some restriction enzymes, restriction endonucleases. So these are some enzymes, endonuclease or exonuclease. You may have heard about these earlier also. Endonuclease means those enzymes which cleaves the DNA or nucleic acid from the middle. They are going to cut the DNA from the middle, okay? And exonuclease means they are going to cut the DNA from the ends, is 3' end or 5' end. So exonuclease and endonuclease. But in this scenario, we are going to take restriction endonuclease. These are like molecular scissors which are going to cut the DNA fragments, DNA and making it fragments, right? So that is what restriction endonuclease is going to do. After applying the restriction endonuclease, we will get DNA fragments and we will get our target gene, which is insulin producing gene. So this restriction endonuclease enzymes binds at particular sites like restriction sites or recognition sites, and it is going to cleave the DNA and making it fragments and taking this target DNA out of the whole chromosomes. So that is what we are going to do. This target DNA will be taken out of this whole chromosome, which is what we need. So after applying the restriction endonuclease, we are taking this DNA. So what we are going to do after that is, we are using some vectors. What? Vectors. So what does it mean by vectors? Vectors are nothing but the vehicles which are going to transport this DNA into the host cell, which is bacteria, and those vectors can replicate themselves so that our gene of interest, the target gene, will also replicate with it, and that host is going to give us the ultimate product which we need, that is insulin. Okay, so these vectors can be various types like plasmids or bacteriophages, right? Plasmids, bacteriophages, or some yeast artificial chromosome, mammalian artificial chromosomes. So these elements can be used as a vectors, and that is what going to transport our target DNA into the host. So what are plasmids? We know plasmids are the extra chromosomal DNA found in the bacteria mainly. Suppose this is the bacteria and this is the bacterial chromosome. So this will be the extra chromosome is present inside the some bacterial cells. Let me rub it, and suppose this is the bacteria and this is the bacterial chromosome, and this is the extra chromosome which is present, and it contains the specific and special genes which are not present in the main chromosome. So that extra chromosome is known as plasmid. So that plasmid we are going to, and that plasmid has the ability to replicate like the main chromosome, so it can replicate independently. So that plasmid is, we are going to use it as a vector which is going to transport our target DNA to the host cell. Like we need vehicles to transport. Suppose I want some parcel from Delhi, so I will order it. So that parcel will be taken by some vehicle like trucks, and those parcels will be transported to my home with the help of that truck. So that truck is the vehicle, and which is going to transport the target product, which is my parcel, to my home and deliver it to my home. Just like that truck is the plasmid is going to transport this target DNA into the host, right? So that is what we are going to do. That plasmid we are going to use it as vector. Vector means vehicle which is going to transport our target DNA. After that, some bacteriophages also use. Bacteriophages are nothing but the viruses which infects bacteria, so that are also used as a vectors. Some yeast artificial chromosomes, some artificially made in vitro made chromosomes are also used inside the rDNA technology as a vector, or mammalian artificial chromosomes are also used, but mainly we are going to look at the plasmids as a vector in this case. So in this case, suppose we have taken the plasmid, okay, and what we are going to do is that this plasmid is again treated with the same restriction endonuclease, so that it can create the gap. This plasmid will treated with same restriction endonuclease which was used earlier here, and that is going to create a gap in the plasmid, and that gap, so we have that gap or that extra space for our target DNA to be incorporated. So after that we will use some ligase enzymes, and this DNA will be mixed to the plasmid solution, and this, with the help of this ligase enzyme, this DNA, this target gene will be joined to this plasmid. Okay, so this target DNA will be joined to this plasmid with the help of this ligase enzyme. We know ligase enzyme in the replication also, it is used as a molecular glue which is used to join two fragments of DNA ligase. So we are using the same enzyme here. Ligase is going to join this target DNA which is going to produce insulin into the plasmid, into the vector, right? So this DNA, which is the combination of the human gene and the bacterial gene or bacterial plasmid, which is nothing but gene or DNA, we can say. This DNA is the combination of human gene and the bacterial plasmid is known as rDNA or recombinant DNA. So that's why this technology is termed as rDNA technology, right? So this we are incorporating or injecting this rDNA into the host cell, right? So that is what in next step we are going to do. This recombinant DNA will be transported to the host bacteria, which is in here. Let's say E. coli. E. coli is the bacteria, and this rDNA. So this E. coli will have its own genome, and this rDNA will be injected or transferred to this E. coli, and this E. coli will take that rDNA inside it, and that process is known as transformation. Okay, by uptaking this foreign DNA into this cell is known as transformation. So transformation, this DNA will be transported, injected inside the bacteria, and this is containing our gene of interest, which is insulin producing gene also. So we know that this plasmid has the ability to replicate itself independently. So this plasmid will be replicated inside the cell, inside the bacteria, and from one plasmid we will have this two plasmid, and our gene of interest will be also replicate with the plasmid. So what is going to happen next, that these plasmids, we know that from DNA proteins are made in the central dogma process. With the help of transcription and translation, this DNA will be transcripted into the mRNA will be transcripted into the proteins. So suppose this is the transcription happens with this gene, so we will get the product, which is transcription and translation happens with the gene, and we will get the ultimate product, which is the insulin, after translation of this particular gene of interest. So inside bacteria we are getting the insulin, which we was expecting. So that insulin is produced inside the bacteria. As the bacteria will replicate, these plasmid also replicate. As the bacteria will make these proteins, these insulin proteins will be also synthesized in the bacterial cells, and after that we are going to take out this insulin from the cells, which was our ultimate product. So one more step is involved in here, is I forgot to mention, is that how we can recognize that some cells are transformed and some cells are not transformed, because we have lot of cells. Here I have taken the only one cell's example, but in the Petri plate or in the experiment we have lots and lots of cells. So some cells are transformed with the plasmid, recombinant plasmid, and some cells are not transformed with the recombinant plasmid. So how we will recognize that some cells are which are the cells which are transformed and the cells which are not transformed? So how we can differentiate? With the help of screening methods. So those screening methods, like we will use some marker genes to recognize that which cells are transformed and which are not. So those marker genes can be like ampicillin resistant genes or some antibiotic resistant genes. And what we are going to do is that we are going to cultivate these same bacteria or same cells in the Petri plate, and which is containing ampicillin antibiotic. So this, we know that some gene markers, with the help of some gene markers, we have that ampicillin resistant gene in the bacterial plasmid here. So those bacteria we are growing in the ampicillin containing media. So that bacteria are have this ampicillin resistant gene. So those bacteria are growing in the ampicillin resistant media are transformed cells, and those are not growing, which are non-transformed cells, because they do not contain this ampicillin resistant gene. So we are using the marker gene as this ampicillin resistant gene, and using that marker gene to identify which are the genes, which are the cells are transformed and which are the cells are not transformed. So after that screening, we are going to cultivate those transformed cells in separate pure culture and in separate media, and after that those cultivated transformed cells have this our gene of interest, and that will be produce our insulin, and that insulin will be excreted and taken out out of the cell, right? That protein will be taken out of the cell, which is our ultimate product, and with the help of that insulin we will make some tablets and give them to the diabetes patients. So in this way we can synthesize the insulin in the bacterial cell using the rDNA technology, which was not earlier possible. We used to kill the various animals like pigs and horses or other animals, and with the help of their pancreas we were used to isolate that insulin and make their tablets and medicines for the diabetes patient, which cannot make their insulin inside their body. So that's why we used to kill those lot of animals. But nowadays with the help of rDNA technology we do not have to kill any animal. We can simply use this rDNA technology and make that same insulin inside the bacterial cells and can survive the diabetes, which is the very important and very we can say the very harmful disorder so many humans are facing. So that's why this rDNA technology helps in the pharmaceutical industry very much. So this was all about the rDNA technology and steps involved in the rDNA technology. I hope I have covered all the steps involved in the rDNA technology. If you have any doubts or questions, you can ask me in the comment section. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel and share this video to your friends. Thank you so much.